Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Connecting Life podcast. I'm your host, Dianaboskma, and I'm here to help you connect the dots of life so that you can live your best life in a healthy and fulfilling way. Today, I'm talking with Nikkita Frazier, and she is an entrepreneur, a travel agent, a mystical human, a mother, and just overall an amazing human being. I've known her for a couple of years now. So, Nikkita, can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So, hello. I am from the U.S. originally. I recently moved to Portugal, to Tavira, Portugal, with my family. Two of my kids, they're in school right now. They're really enjoying being in Portugal, which I thought would be hard, but not as hard as it really was. And we're just kind of starting over in the middle of our life right now, deciding to follow our bliss. So that's kind of a little bit about me. I used to work in corporate America, and after I got laid off from my last job, decided that wasn't for me anymore. So I started my own travel business, and that's about it.
Cool. Well, that's a big change. Not many people do that. So, Nikkita has also had a kidney transplantation. So, we're going to talk about that today and probably some other things as and when they fit in, because that's just how a conversation like this works. So, you had a kidney transplant, and that's how long ago now?
2001. So it'll
Oh,
be 5 years this year.
wow.
So it's been very
Yeah.
exciting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That must have been quite the journey. Because before the transplant, there's already quite a big journey as far as I am aware. Because you get.
Yeah. It was a very layered journey, and
Mhm,
this part of my life is where I kind of realized that anything is possible,
mhm.
especially if you have the right mindset.
Yeah.
So going back, I was in a relationship that didn't serve me very well.
Mhm.
Um, and in that relationship, I got pregnant with my two youngest kids. So my son, he just turned 14. And then my daughter, she is 10, about to be 11. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, Sophie, that's when I found out about my advanced kidney disease.
Mm.
So, already being advanced maternal age when you're pregnant, you're already having
Mhm.
to see specialists. And then on top of that, finding out that you have kidney disease was just like very stressful.
Yeah.
Um, and having to go to two different specialists and being told that, you're going to have to, have her early because of they wanting to do tests and biopsies and things like that.
Oof.
And being the mystical human that I am, I researched ways to kind of induce or myself
Mhm.
with. So I've had all my kids a couple weeks early.
Yeah.
So she came early, and then right after, maybe a week after I had her, they had to do a kidney biopsy to confirm my kidney disease. So that was intense because I'm nursing and just had
Yeah.
surgery, be sick. Like every time she would nurse, I would get sick. Like
Oh,
it was
goodness.
a very, very tough time.
Yeah.
Having a newborn, a 3-year-old, being diagnosed with advanced kidney disease, getting no support from my
Mhm.
partner at the time, because he is having his own issues. And
Mhm.
yeah, I would go to my doctor's appointments by myself. I would try like all the different types of, tinctures and remedies, and, you
Mhm.
know, my goal, like I wanted to just heal myself because I know that your body can heal. So it was like, let me do all these things to see if I can
Yeah.
heal myself. And just kind of being on that journey by yourself um, was
That's
a
tough.
lot. It was a
Yeah.
lot. It was very
That's
hard.
tough. Yeah.
Um, and I just remember one of my like last couple of months before I decided to end the relationship. Um, I had lost like I don't know, like 30 pounds maybe. I was 117 pounds and I'm five
Mm-hmm.
eight. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I share this on my Facebook a lot, like pictures where you could just see my ribs and I could see
Mm-hmm.
like my heart. Like I was
Yeah.
literally afraid
Yeah. I've seen
that I
them.
was not going to be
Yeah.
here for my kids, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
And I was starting to have panic attacks and anxiety. And I was on all these different meds. And I was like, are the meds doing it? Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's the one time that I literally was asleep and I jumped out of bed, gasping for air and
Mm.
having like a panic attack
Yeah.
where, I just felt like, what am I doing? Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
in this situation with this person who's not really supporting me, and I don't know if I'm going to be here. So, a lot of times people would stay
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know and they want to
Yeah.
have anything instead of nothing.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, if I'm not going to be here, I want whatever's left to
Yeah.
be positive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just remember like my inner voice or the universe or whoever you want to call it just kept telling me that I would be okay, that there's
That's true.
something better for me on the other side. And
Mm.
like I'm just having this kind of battle in my mind, like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, if I just remember hearing like if you die, what's going to happen with your kids,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, when your life seems like it's completely falling apart,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually to build something better, but you don't really know that at the time. You know what I mean?
No, no, because it feels like it's falling apart instead of that it's creating something new. Because
It's
things have
creating
to fall
space.
away. Is that space needs to be there, so it has to fall away for something new to be able to come. That's
Yeah,
not easy. That's always scary.
it's not easy at all. And this was like in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
um, that I was really starting to just question everything. And then on my birthday in February of 2020, um, I lost my job. They laid off the whole department. So my last day was actually on my birthday. A
Ouch.
week after that, I decided to leave my ex because he didn't want to celebrate my birthday on his birthday because our days were a day apart. And it was just kind of the last
Mm-hmm.
thing where it was like,
Yeah.
I have to choose myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
and so I lost my job, I lost my relationship, and then COVID happened. All in like this very
Mm-hmm.
condensed thing.
Yeah.
So, um, like they say, when one door closes, another one opens. But I
Yes.
definitely believe that you have to be open to it because if
Mm-hmm.
you're not, you're not see the
Yeah.
opportunities that are there for you.
Yeah.
And during that time, I didn't have a job. I couldn't leave the house. I'm with the two babies. And I just was like, this is time for me to heal my heart chakra, to sever emotional ties. And I
Mm.
did like this like internal work
Yeah.
because I didn't know what my future held. I was, you know what I mean? I felt like that time frame was like a pressure cooker for people, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like I feel like I grew so much in that short amount of time because I was just like, there's nothing else to do. So I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all
Yeah.
day, I'm just like working on myself, working on healing and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then out of nowhere, that same voice was like, you need to reach out to and find someone to talk to because you're here by yourself with these kids and you need another adult to talk to. And then again, I'm having this conversation like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm over it. I'm just gonna be single the rest of my life. Like, and it was just like, you don't have to date them, but it'll be nice to have someone to talk to.
Well, friendship
And
is a
like,
possibility. It's not an all or nothing thing.
right. And it's every time I share this, I always think people think I'm crazy, but it's like I'm literally having this conversation
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
something. And, I went on one site, and then the voice was like, no, that's not the site. Ask your friend, Sharon, what site she went on. And
Mm.
I was like, okay. So I reached out and I asked her, and she told me the site. So I went on there. And the very next day, um, my husband, Mark, my now husband, Mark, reached out to me. And I almost ignored his like contact,
Yeah.
because he wears sunglasses, and I like
Hmm.
seeing people's eyes. And
Yep.
I was like, if I can't see your eyes, I'm not gonna. And
Hmm.
literally, as I'm on the phone getting ready to swipe one way, it was like stop, and I couldn't move my hand. And then I just read how much he loved his daughters, how much he liked to cook, how much he liked to travel, and all those things are things that I
Yep.
like, and things that I,
Hmm.
value in a person that I would like to talk to, or
Hmm.
And so it's like, okay. And we immediately hit it off, like immediately. And that was probably in April.
Hmm.
And then in August, um, he moved in. And uh, so back up a little bit, but before, like when we first started talking, um, I was so afraid to tell him that, I'm,
Yeah.
having these health issues, because it's like, who wants to date a person who's
Yeah.
sick, ill, and all this stuff. And again, that voice was just like, just tell him he's gonna be fine. Like, he will support you. It'll be fine. And I told him, and he was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Like, and then like,
That's good.
2 weeks, he was already saying that he loved me. And
Oh.
then like August, he moved in. And then that around that same time, he was like, I'll get tested to see if I'm a match. Something that my ex never offered, never suggested. And this is someone that
Hmm.
I've only been on 4 months,
Yeah.
and he's offered to get tested. And he was a match. And
It's
we kind of went through
unbelievable that you
the
find
whole
your
process.
match on an app.
I know, like not only like a match for my kidney, but a match for like my soulmate. It was just
Mm.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But so we went through the whole process of um, going through getting tested, and like there's a whole process that they have to make sure that they're not
Yeah.
doing it under duress, and that
Hmm.
they're healthy, and it's like a whole process.
Yeah.
And originally we were going through UPenn in
Yeah.
Philly, which is like 2 hours away from my house. But
Yeah.
that was where I had gotten on the transplant list and all those things leading up to it, when I had my old job and the old insurance and everything.
Yeah.
So in December, I started a new job. And through that job, I had the opportunity to go through a closer hospital,
Mm.
because I didn't really like the options that the big hospital was giving us. They
Hmm.
wanted him to donate to someone else and have me wait. They would call it like a cross donation or something like that. And this is where you have to know and research
Hmm.
like what the medical community is telling you,
Yeah.
instead of just believing everything they say and just trusting them blindly.
Hmm.
Um, because you know I would always look at my labs. I always knew what my numbers were. Like when he became a match, they told me that he was a match with low level reactivity. So then when they wanted him to donate to someone else, I was like, well, why would we do that?
Hmm.
Because we're a match. And then they were just like, well, we could get you a better match, but I don't need a better match. Like, and they like went up the chain to like the head of the whole thing, trying to convince me to go through this process.
Hmm.
And it just did not sit right with me. Like, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So after that meeting, I called my one friend who had, gone through, being on the donor list and finding a donor, and she had dealt with it all. So
Hmm.
I called her and I was like, this is what they're telling me. This doesn't make sense. And she had also told me not to get the fistula in. She's like, you're going to tell your body what to expect next. So as long as you can not do it, don't
Mm-hmm.
do it. So like she just gave me really good advice for me. Not
Yeah.
saying that that works for everyone. So when I talked to her, she was saying how she also had someone to donate to her.
Mm-hmm.
But the hospital said the same thing. And her donor ended up donating to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then she became ineligible to get a donor after that. So, which is crazy that you actually have someone willing to donate to you,
Mm-hmm.
but they talk them out of it, and then you no longer are allowed to get a donor. So,
That sounds
um,
weird.
very weird. And then so once I had my new job, I had a different insurance that allowed me to go to a
Mm-hmm.
hospital closer to us. And when I went there, I asked them the same question, like, do you do this program? And the head of the department at that time was like, no, we don't do that. And to be totally honest with you, I think that program is unethical because they get paid based off of how many people are in that program.
Oh,
So my my instincts were correct
yeah.
that they were not looking out for my best interest.
Mm-hmm.
So we had
So,
to start pretty much everything over again with the new hospital, but because we had a lot of the other information, it wasn't as long of a process.
mm-hmm.
So almost a year after he, offered to get tested, July of 2021 is
Mm-hmm.
when we had the surgery.
Wow.
So
That's
it
pretty quick.
was, yeah, it was very quick. It
Wow.
was pretty amazing.
Yeah. How's the recovery journey after that been for both of you? Because he lost a kidney, you got a kidney. How does it even work? Do they take your kidney out and put a new one in, or did it take both out, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they say, and if he heard me right now, he'd be like laughing that the actual recovery time is harder for the donor than it is for the recipient. So they
Okay.
took his out
Yeah.
laparoscopically. Um, I still have all of mine, so I have three right now.
Okay.
Um, and they put mine like right um, on my side, my right side here.
Hmm.
So I have two in the back and one in the front. And I think what makes it harder for the donor is because of all the gas they use for the
Mm.
laparoscopic. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
those gas bubbles are horrible.
Mm.
And in the beginning, I would have to go to the hospital maybe 3 times a week, which is
Whoa.
another reason why I was so happy not to have to drive to Philly like 2 hours, 3 times a week. Like I would
Mm.
have to live, you know.
Yeah.
So, they're like really monitoring like your levels and your numbers and making sure everything's good and you're on
Yeah.
all of these medications and you have a catheter in, like, oh, like to go under and then wake up and then have these things out of your neck. And here it was like, oh,
Yeah.
and all I was thinking was, I was asleep when they put them in, but I'm gonna be awake when they take them out. Like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so blessed because I have such a great support system. My one girlfriend watched the kids while because we were both in the hospital at the same
Yeah.
time, and then my oldest daughter flew in from California to take care of the both of us. So she was taking care of
Nice.
me and
Yeah.
Mark and the kids. And
Oh, that's
yeah, so
beautiful.
it was just a blessing to see so many people kind of like rally around us and support us while we
Mm.
were healing and going through,
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, because still
Yeah.
surgery, you need time after that. Your body needs to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
Wow.
So like,
So how has it affected Mark's health to lose a kidney, or has he hardly noticed anything?
He hasn't really noticed anything. In the beginning, he would have to go and get testing too to see what his numbers were. He
Hmm.
used to drink a lot of coffee, like a big
Yeah.
mug full of coffee. So he had to limit the amount of coffee he drank, and just kind of be more mindful of like what
Hmm.
you're eating and drinking because you only have the one kidney. So
Yeah, you want to keep it.
right, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's doing great that wise. We know he has other issues, but
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, as long as that
kidney
part is,
wise,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's good.
kidney
And
wise, he's doing great.
yeah, and for you, what? Because I'm now really curious. You've got three kidneys. The other
Yeah.
two, are they still functioning, or how's that been?
From what I was told, they're probably like functioning like 1 or 2%, not really much.
Mm. Yeah.
It's the workhorse is the one in the front. And the funny thing was like when people talk about when you have an organ transplant that you crave things that the other person may
Hmm.
have liked.
Yeah.
I immediately started craving like jerky and all these things that my husband used to love. Like it was just crazy. Like I remember the first year I was craving jerky so bad.
Really? So does that sound? It sounds to me a bit like your food choices have aligned a bit more since the transplant.
Yeah, yeah. Where
It's,
I would never eat turkey, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I love this. And I definitely eat more eggs now than I used to before because I never liked eggs. Eggs always kind of were gross to me, but I eat
hmm.
them a lot more now. He eats them literally every day. Like he doesn't get tired of them.
That's
So
interesting.
it's very funny
Yeah.
and something that, and it could just be because we're so in sync as a couple,
Hmm.
but also Um, I feel like I can kind of get like little intuitions about
Hmm.
when he's having his illnesses
Hmm.
because of the seasonal migraines and things. Like I feel like I can tell. I know
Hmm.
it sounds weird. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if you think about it like metaphysically, right? Like every cell is kind
Hmm.
of like a bit of the whole, right?
It
So
is. Yes. Yeah.
if my kidney and his kidney are from the same thing,
Hmm.
then you know,
Yeah.
science wise, if his cells are reacting to something, mine
Yeah.
might as well,
Yeah.
because I am way more light sensitive now than I was before.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting.
That is
But
interesting.
yeah,
So it sounds like you've changed a bit energetically, but also physically because
yeah,
of getting someone else's body part, which is
yeah,
it's quite cool.
yeah,
So when you look at yourself energetically from before, can you pinpoint anything that you feel that's changed? Because yeah, the physically is then the jerky and the eggs thing, but is there anything
yeah.
else?
Hmm. I'm sure there is, but hmm. I'm sure there is. I just
Mhm.
can't think of anything like right now as an example.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's I would probably say his personality wise,
Hmm.
like he is very kind of like methodical, being an engineer, very like,
Yeah.
routine one. And I've always been more of a free spirit, like wacky, like just kind of like
Hmm.
whatever. And also it could just be because we live together, but I feel like I do have a little bit more of like systemy than I was
Hmm.
before,
That's a
if that
cool
makes
thing.
any sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. So, anyone who's going on this journey, is there anything you would like to tell them to be aware of, to think about, or anything?
Um, first of all, I would always say to follow your gut
Mm-hmm.
and follow your instincts, because I feel like I would not be where I am today if I didn't follow my instincts at all. If I didn't
Mm-hmm.
listen to that voice to tell me, how to navigate those first couple months, I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be. I don't even know if I'd be here in this realm, but I definitely wouldn't be,
Mm-hmm.
in Portugal with a new kidney,
Yeah.
healthy and
Yeah.
happy and all those things.
Yeah.
And the one thing that uh, I remember from my mom, because she died, I think it's almost 20 years from lung cancer. And when the doctors tell you
Mm-hmm.
how long you have, and if you believe that,
Yeah.
that's how long you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I would ask them, like, well, should I be on a diet? And they're like, you don't need to worry about that now. I'm like, so I found my own nutritionist and dietitian, and I went
Mm-hmm.
on my own diet, and I did the things that I felt like I wanted to give my body the best shot.
Mm-hmm.
For, I would see acupuncturist, and I would do like Chinese herbs, and I was kind of like trying everything to kind of boost my body, and you know, because I don't think the doctors really understand that part of it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, they're more of like emergency services. Like, they're gonna take care of it when after it's already a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure, because you have to watch out for your potassium and your, like, all these things.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just eat things and have it be an issue, and then you want to deal with it. Like, all my
Yeah.
numbers pretty much great, except for the fact that my kidney levels were depleting. But other than that, I was completely healthy. So they
That's.
have like no idea why,
Mm-hmm.
it happened, because it's not family history or anything. So, you know, if the doctors are telling you, yeah, you probably have like 5 years before you'll need dialysis, don't listen. Don't listen.
Mm.
Do what you need to do
Yeah.
to give yourself the best shot. You
Yeah.
know, I was in a support group, um, and people were talking about how their kidney function was like 20%, and they could hardly get out of bed, and my function was at 6%, and I
Mm-hmm.
was going to the beach, going on amusement parks, you know what I mean? Like, I
Wow.
was living life with my
Mm-hmm.
kidney function at 6%, where people were not living their life with their function at 20%. And I think a lot of that has to do with your mindset. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you believe at 20% you can't leave the bed, then you're not going to leave the bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you believe that at 6% you're still running around doing things, like, my skin was very like dark, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but nothing was bad where they were like, you need dialysis now.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
So you
so
were taking really good care of yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was taking really good care of myself,
Yeah. Because that's
and I was
really important
meditating,
thing. Yeah.
and I was eating right, and I
Yeah.
was doing everything that I possibly could within my
Mm-hmm.
control.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then
So
you also feel a bit more in control instead of that things just happen to you. You actually have a bit of a voice in the matter. You do some things, and frequently that makes people feel a whole lot better about themselves because they're doing
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's quite the journey. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
Anything
of
else you'd
course.
like to share, or is that about it?
I could share a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know, like,
Huh. Well, we could also just organize something for another time to share some other
yeah.
stuff because that also works. So we've had about half an hour in the meantime now. So, all right,
Okay.
then I
Yeah.
have another question. So, when people want to contact you, what's best for them to do it. Because what I will do is share the details in the description of the video so they can just click the link then. But you saying it here will also be useful for them.
Okay, so you can always find me on Mystical Traveling on Facebook and on TikTok, and I also have a YouTube page called Our Blended Family Travel Life. So I talk a lot about travel and us moving to Portugal, which could be a whole nother conversation.
That is another conversation for sure. Yeah, that'll be a cool one too. Yeah. Okay. I will share those links then with the description. And then I want to say that I really enjoyed this conversation. I learned a lot about you actually that I didn't know, which is also really cool. And yeah, just want to thank you for joining me today because it was just really cool. So yeah, thank you for sharing this much. And let's
Thank you for giving me.
yeah, anytime. So let's do it again for another conversation because this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.